I always make a point of saying he died by suicide. A lot of people shy away from the topic, a lot of people shy away from asking, they think they're going to upset you. But actually, it's actually really nice to be able to talk about your person. The last 5 minutes of his life does not define Dan. He had 26 years. He was just really creative, really loving, really kind, really free-spirited. Probably a year before, there were signs. My dad was very much trying to help him and kind of making sure he was meeting him regularly. And then Dan moved up north to Lancaster to live with a friend. He got a job, it all seemed really positive, like his life was going in the right direction, so there was no signs to us. I think I went for a bath and I came out and Sean, my husband, said to me, "Oh, your phone keeps going off." And he's like, "Your mum's calling." And I was like, "Why didn't you just answer it if it's mum?" And then I looked and I'd had like 20 missed calls from my mum, 5 from my stepdad. I called my mum back and she was just like in tears and told me that Dan had died. He died February 2020. We had the funeral the day after they announced national lockdown in the evening. A lot of things weren't allowed. He wasn't allowed to be carried in, but it's not nice to think that the last time that you hugged your parents for kind of 2-3 months was at your brother's funeral. Someone had sent me a message about sunflowers. I've always attended their monthly group, so originally on Zoom because we were COVID, and it was just nice to see people and kind of talk around kind of feelings and the process. And then I've done grief recovery through sunflowers, which was a really interesting time because it really makes you think and kind of digest every area of grief and kind of your history with the person. I found that really useful. And I attend a lot of the events around kind of the annual sunflower planting and the Glimmer of Light event. And then Sunflowers recommended me to a counsellor as well, which has just given me the space to know I've got time to talk about Dan and talk about my feelings and everything. I don't think a lot of people realise that when someone dies by suicide, it's not just that they die and then there's a funeral, there's then an inquest. It's just very factual, it's not talked about with emotion, and obviously at this point you're probably going through the inquest, it's still very raw, and actually just having that support from Sunflowers to be able to talk through it, to read through the documentation that they send, the coroner courts send you before the inquest, that was just really, really useful. Grief in itself is quite a lonely place. Grief by suicide is quite a very lonely place due to the stigma that suicide has on it. It's a different type of grief to get your head around, and there's not a huge amount of support out there. I hadn't really found anything until I found Sunflowers.